Gentlemen, hello. John and Alan.
That's right, yeah.
Shared ownership owners. How long have you owned the property?
Was it December?
No, I think we got it in November.
November, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
End of November.
Yeah.
you're pretty much newbies,
We are.
really.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I'm talking to gentlemen of similar age to me, and you're first time buyers, but you've bought in the southeast. You've bought in London, haven't you?
Yeah, in Bermondsey, yeah.
In Bermondsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A place we never thought we'd be able to afford.
No, I mean, I know one person. I've met one person in my life that owned a property in Bermondsey, and he was quite wealthy, actually.
Well, you meant 3 now.
Right, quite, yeah. But as a citizen, I like the fact that we've got a mixture of cultures and a mixture of income in a part of London that would normally be preserved for the wealthy and the rich.
Yeah, I suppose it wasn't always like that.
No.
Bermondsey, and Bermondseys changed a lot in the past 40 years.
Of course it has, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Nowadays, I think around Bermondsey Street, it's gentrified a
So,
lot.
so tell me, you've bought in Bermondsey, which was, for anybody that doesn't know London, a very expensive part of London. Very central, isn't it? I mean, you
Just
are in...
south of Tower Bridge.
Yeah, you are in
Yeah.
central
Yeah.
London, in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
opinion.
10 minutes walk away from London Bridge.
So what was the inspiration behind you buying a shared ownership property? You were focused on Bermondsey, or you just thought, oh, we could actually get in Bermondsey? Where were you?
I think it was COVID. People reevaluated their lives and
Yeah.
what was important to them. And we lived in a Peabody place previously, and they were a really good landlord. So we started looking around, and then we went and saw it and thought, well, this is actually possible, to have a shared ownership. And also as well to live in Bermondsey. We both love Bermondsey. I direct for a living, that's what I do. Alan works in the arts as well. So we're both quite arty people.
Yeah.
It's kind of really arty, it's really central, and to think we could live there, I never thought that would be possible, to be honest.
No, quite.
But, the whole kind of Help to Buy scheme has made that possible for us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think in lockdown as well, we saved quite a lot of money. Because you couldn't go out, you couldn't go on
No,
holiday.
It's brilliant, wasn't it? It forced us to be sensible for our money.
Yeah, and then we used to go out cycling like every day in lockdown, and we were just cycling around. We'd cycle up to the river. And
Obviously, you stayed within half the mile, or whatever it was.
Exercise.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
There was no parties, honestly.
Doesn't matter, does it?
We had nobody around in the garden.
But we'd cycle up to the river, and we'd cycle past this particular development, and then I said to John, I said, well, we should look into that really and see what.
So you didn't know
possibilities
anything
are.
about shared ownership previously?
No, I did know a little bit about it. I mean, I sort of looked at it years ago, and I kind of like, oh, well, I've got to get a deposit and everything. But it was, I think, because we then did get a deposit during lockdown, and then I thought, well, actually, this makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Because I think I was reluctant initially, because I used to think, well, you only have a share of it, and then you have to cover all the costs of maintaining it and the rest of that. But actually, you're still, even if you've got, like we've got 30%, you've still got 30% at the end of the day. So
Absolutely.
you're still like, actually got, I mean, Bermondsey, that's quite a lot.
It's a lot of real estate.
It's like, and so, if you did, I mean, I don't think we're going to sell, but I mean, if you did decide to sell, you'd still get quite a good return. I think,
gosh,
in
yeah.
however many years.
For when you bought.
Yeah.
When did you complete on it then?
Well, that was last November when we completed.
End
so
of
it was
November,
only,
yeah.
sort of Armistice Day, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it was 11th.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's a good day to remember,
Tally's
isn't it?
Tally's an archivist who remembers this.
Yeah. So where were you living before?
So not too far away, so just in Walworth, so literally
I know
about
it well.
10 minutes away. So we kind of knew that area anyway, so it kind of made sense. We did look around to a lot of different properties and stuff like that. But that, when we saw it, we just kind of thought, well, that's the kind of place for us. So,
It's funny, isn't it? You were looking to buy a property, and most people would think, well, if we buy, we're going to have to move further out from Walworth.
Yeah.
But you actually moved, or were able to move
near
further in.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like, I always used to think, I'm not going to buy just somewhere, like in South Croydon or somewhere. No offense to South Croydon, but it's like, I don't want to go and live in South Croydon. And
But you're London heads, aren't you? Clearly.
And I don't really, to go and live right on the edge of the city, that wasn't really something I wanted to do. So I just thought, well, I'd rather rent in town and be nearer to the things I like doing.
You guys are trailblazers. Most people, well, because most people after lockdown thought, I need to get out of the city, and you guys were like, we need to get in.
Well, it's about what you enjoy.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
enjoy the theatre, we enjoy our galleries, we enjoy art, we enjoy creativity.
Yeah.
And for that, you need to live in the city centre. So, living in the city centre, this has made it possible for us to do that. So we wouldn't have been able to do that without the scheme. So, and I mean, like Alan said as well, we're going to own, we own 30% of it. So it's better owning 30% of something than nothing of nothing. Because we paid rent for how long before?
Too long.
So it's like, well, at least we own something, and it's something we own together. It's ours, which is also special for us as well, isn't it? It's part of our life.
Yeah, there's a few rewards there, isn't there? As a couple, you're even more committed, aren't you? Financially, and just as a couple per se, because you're then in charge of the property. You're responsible for it, if you like, which you mentioned.
I mean, even if you don't, you could staircase up. You could acquire more of the property. But even if you don't do that, there's still a much greater level of security there for you, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So,
have you discussed? I mean, you're early days, aren't you? But have you discussed maybe in the future buying more shares of property?
We have done. So whatever happens financially, we can look at that.
Yeah.
But even if we don't, we still own 30%. And also as well, when we do eventually retire, because obviously that's something you start thinking about when you get a little bit older.
Yeah.
It means we've got a base in London where we can come back to. It's our space, and eventually the rent part of it will be a lot less.
Yeah.
If we stay with the 30%. So it kind of suits us and suits kind of our life plan and our life trajectory in a way.
Yeah. Well, suddenly you're grown-ups, aren't you?
We are, yeah.
I mean, we're obsessed with owning our own property in the UK. You go to Germany, it's a rental population there, isn't it? Yeah. But whilst we have this obsession with owning property, this fuels it. This satisfies it to an extent as well, doesn't it? Shared ownership.
Yeah.
Have you done the calculation, or did you do the calculation of how much rent you were paying in Walworth to your outgoings of a shared ownership property?
Well, I suppose so. I mean, obviously it's a lot more for the period when you have the mortgage, so you have to sort of factor that in. But then once the mortgage is paid off, it's actually it's just a little bit more expensive. It's not a huge amount more. But like I say, you have a lot more benefits, I think. I think you have more security. I think it's a nicer property. It's a new build.
Let's talk about it.
It's pretty good.
What are the benefits you think of owning a shared ownership property compared to, well, the other alternative is renting somewhere?
I think what it is that it's the security.
Yeah.
Even in, we were in Peabody before, but they at any time could have decided they were going to rezone things. They could have decided anything. Which meant we wouldn't have had their tenancy, so we would have had to look for somewhere. It just means we've got that stability. We know it's our place. We've got our safe haven. We're where we want to live. We're in a place we want to live, and it's really good for us, isn't it? So that's the difference, really. We really enjoyed where we lived before, but this gives us that extra bit of security and kind of knowledge that it's our space, it's our place, and it's our kind of future. It's like your little nest, isn't it?
Yes, that's
which
exactly
is
what
really
it is.
important as human beings, that we have that and feel safe and secure in that. And I think post-COVID as well, that's even more important because it made both of us realise what was important to us. And I kind of, I think a lot of people did new jobs, moved. Like you said, a lot of people moved the other way.
Yeah.
So for us, it was kind of a decision point for that. So it gives us that security as well.
To use your term, nesting, have you nested into the property? Have you made any changes or decorated it or anything like that?
We finished the whole thing, didn't we?
Yeah, we haven't decorated. It was a new build, so
Yeah.
I mean, it was all very kind of nice and that. But yeah, we've had pictures hung up.
The picture hanger from the National Gallery, could I say?
Oh, wow.
So, you can't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Can you?
Well, I work at the National Gallery, so it's a friend. So
He's not moonlighting.
He does freelance as well.
Oh, right, okay.
And and then we had curtains put up and stuff like that. But actually, the decoration was so nice, and that's all been left.
Was it
But
new
I think
property?
that, just going back to your benefits question, I think a benefit going forward is that you can do what you like with the property much more freely than you can with a rented property. So the kitchen's all brand new, it's all lovely, it's great. But in sort of 5, 7, 10, whatever years time, you might think, I want to change that, I want to do something new with it. And that's actually much easier for you as a shared ownership person than if you were renting somewhere that, you'd have to get the landlord's permission and all that sort of stuff. So I think you can make it a little bit more your own, I think.
Have you discussed having pets at all?
With our lifestyles, I mean, I'd love to have a dog, but I'm always out directing things or doing community work, or Alan's always, with his work is really busy as well, so we just couldn't, I'd love to have a dog.
Fair enough.
Maybe someday, whenever it's time.
But that's what's changed as well, though, isn't it? Like, you have the ability to have pets now with the landlord's consent sometimes.
There are people actually in the block who have dogs, small dogs.
Yeah.
Tell me, you saw your property being built, really.
Yeah.
Was it completed when you completed your legals on it, or was it all finished?
No, it wasn't all finished. So it's quite a big. It's the old Branston pickle.
Oh right,
factory
okay,
site.
yeah.
So it's old Cross and Blackwell site, and so part of it they've kept. They've kind of kept the shell of the warehouse and done a bit of a loft kind of development on it, and then there's a new build where we are, and so the new build was finished first, and they were still working on the old pickle factory. While we were there, so that's sort of been going on. So it's been quite interesting though to move in, because there was one block that had people already in it, and then gradually people have been moving into gradually populating the other areas.
So you bought it essentially off plan.
No, we did go and see it.
You did go and see it.
We saw it once it was ready to go, but other parts of the development were still being done.
Yeah. So you must have, there must have been that building excitement. It's like, come on, hurry up, we want in. You can see it, but you can't quite touch it yet.
Yeah, I was really excited to get in. We both were, and it's one of those things that sometimes the legals take longer than you realise.
Yeah.
So
it never moves quick enough, does it?
No, it's just kind of frustrating, and it just seems like you're getting in touch with the lawyer and the conveyancing, and then that seems to get bogged down on like the sewers or something.
Yeah, but they're only hopefully looking after your interest, making sure and that gives you peace of mind for the future. This is a big commitment.
Yeah, and then eventually we got the keys, and it was like all of a sudden it was just like, oh, the keys are. I don't know, you can't get the keys now. I was like,
well, people said that when it happens, and it's like that. And then it was like that. It just
it's slow. There you are. I need to buy a sofa.
It's a chance for a huge sum of money.
Well, yeah, that's a bit painful, isn't it? Yeah, no one likes spending money, do they? So it sounds like it's gone fairly smoothly. Anything you do differently, or any frustrations along the way?
No, I mean it was. I mean the initial kind of conversation when we looked around. The guys from Peabody were really good. Really supported you through the journey.
Yeah.
So that's important as well, that you supported through that journey as well, because it was new to us, wasn't it? So
is it a Peabody place you've bought as well?
Yeah. So,
oh right. Yeah. Okay. Well, you trusted them as a company. They were good landlords.
Yeah, I mean we looked at others as well, but because I knew Peabody and then the others, just wasn't. I wasn't as impressed by them. So
yeah, Peabody's a good social landlord as well. So we kind of felt it was a right fit because of being with them previously.
Being comfortable with an end user and anybody building in the real estate world is a big thing. You might not know the product, but you know the ethos of the company. If they're decent landlords, and essentially they're a landlord of some of your property now.
Yes.
So if you had a good relationship with them before, it should be a good relationship in perpetuity, really, shouldn't it?
Yeah. They have been good, haven't they? So. And also as well, the fittings and the kind of finish was really good on.
Was it?
This one compared to other ones we looked at. So And the winter garden, that's what sold me. It was like, you know,
Winter garden?
Winter
Who
garden.
the hell do you think
and
you
me, a
are?
lad from the north of England
Oh.
with the winter garden. What's that?
Wow!
So-
Your mother would say, who is he now? Who
Oh,
is he?
she's been down. She loved it all weekend. She was sat in there this weekend. So
You know what? You know, let's talk about that. You know, your parents,
Yeah.
you know, he's moved to London, he's still renting, and when's he going to grow up? Suddenly, you're a real estate owner, you're a homeowner, aren't you?
my mum was lovely actually. She said, you know, she was down at weekend. She was like, you know, you're really happy in your new place. She said it's so lovely. She said, it's like a palace, Sergeant.
Oh,
And it's, you know, and that was lovely because she could see I was, you know, we're really happy. So, you know, and you know.
well, it sounds like it's given you a life or a lifestyle that you never would have gotten hold of without shared ownership. I mean, you wouldn't be living in Bermondsey. You could probably afford to rent there, and the rent would be astronomical anyway.
No, and even the rent, I mean, because obviously we're living in a Peabody flat off the Walworth Road, I mean, so, and the rent for that was fine, but even around Walworth, the rents just
Oh,
going
God.
up and up and up, and so, yeah, Bermondsey would be completely
Yeah.
unaffordable. Yeah.
Well,
I feel like a millionaire. I really do. Sometimes.
well, you're rubbing shoulders with them living in Bermondsey, pal.
Sometimes I go, is this really happening? I have to pinch
Yeah.
myself, you know, because it is happening and it's lovely. You know? Sometimes I look around my flat and I just go, God, this is amazing. And I still get that now.
Do you?
This is like we moved in December and I'm still doing it. I still
That's
keep
brilliant.
pinching myself and I'm going, this is wow.
Just talk to me, what have you bought then? What is it?
Oh, well, it's a one-bedroom flat,
Mhm.
and so it's just off Grange Road, and it has a really nice balcony, which I love because we didn't.
Oh,
have
so you've
any
got outside
outdoor-
space?
Yeah, we didn't have any outdoor space in the old flat, and it's big. It's a big balcony, so you can have we've got a little sort of sofa set really out there.
Oh,
and a
right.
table, you can sit outside. Like John was saying, it's got sort of glazing, so you can open up the glazing, the windows, if you want, so you can have them all open, and then you can have it like a normal balcony, or in the winter you can close it and have it a little bit warmer. And then it's got a sort of open plan, sort of lounge, diner, kitchen, and then a little bathroom off it. It's really nice. It's
And we've kind of got, it's very kind of modern and contemporary, but we've gone for a kind of Art Deco kind of theme at the
Nice.
top, with the kind of dining room area is, and kind of, and then we've kind of gone for more. I've got a big telly as well, which I sneaked across the
Big
line.
telly.
So you know, you know, I just got that in. It was like, it won't be too big. You know, it's like the whole wall is like the telly. It's like Bernard Kino, you know. So, but I got that over the line.
Well, it's and you can drill it to the wall. You can put it where you want because it's your house, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, it's so good to hear another success story, really. But you've kind of bucked the trend in as much that you've moved to a more expensive area, more central,
Yeah.
and you're even happier there. So
Yeah.
good for you, and all the best for the future.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, John.